These are the first generation Toyota Innovas, and both these cars are identical. So you can call them twin brothers. However, their upbringing has been very different, and that's the reason they have turned out to be chalk and cheese. Why is the upbringing different? Because when this was sitting on the first bench, this one was sitting at the last bench. Yes, first bencher, last bencher. When this went to the library, this one went to the gym. When this one was a virgin mojito drinker, this one used to sniff or take shots of whey protein isolate. And while this one doesn't have a girlfriend, this one has stolen this guy's girlfriend as well, even though he doesn't have it. So yes, both of these are stock Innovas, and both of them are first generation, both of them are petrol as well. However, this is stock, this is modified. So in terms of characteristics, you can say this is Salman Khan, meanwhile this is actually Lawrence Bishnoi, and these cars come courtesy of Deep Raj Chari to me, who's actually modified this car, and I am here at a farmhouse to shoot these cars because this looks absolutely crazy mental. Straight away, let's open the engine bay here, because even though both of them started off with the same engine, which is the 2-liter petrol here, this one has a different engine. Yes, it has got a heart transplant as well, because this is actually coming from Tata. It actually says Mahindra right there. Can you guess the engine? There's no insulation here, but my goodness, that was quite heavy. So a lift has happened of 7 inches, bigger 37-inch tires here. You get a crash guard as well. You get all these lights too. And obviously this car looks absolutely mental because of the height increase here. Meanwhile, this is so low to the ground, looking quite humble. The antenna has been added here so that this car can definitely communicate with Mars. And those lights are also functional. So you have to actually remove the cover here, and then you can use these lights. And this thing is completely open so that the engine can breathe better, because the engine is now bigger. So is the torque output from this car. And when you come to the side, you realize this is like so jintu mintu, like so low down. However, look at that. Okay, that is jutting out from the top. In fact, this is a 5-door. Meanwhile, that is actually a 3-door. You can call it a 2-door because this opens. This does not open at all unless and until you remove the spare tire, which will obviously take a lot of effort. 37 into 13.5, 17, and alloy wheels are not there. Steel wheels look really nice and classy. You've got lights here as well at the rear. Look at the size of the tires. Isn't that mental? And the suspension is actually stock. Whatever you see here now is only for show. That is the ladder frame. If you notice from here, these springs, they look quite cool, but they're not functional. Side footstep, which is very much important. So let's get inside, because to get to the rear now, you have to push the seat ahead and then pull this like this. Okay, it's not happening that easily, but let me push it from here. Yeah, now this is moved, and there is the rear. So the center seat has been pushed all the way to the rear, giving you a lot of leg room, which is quite amazing. But headroom is sort of suffered. I don't know why. There's an organizer here, and there is a window which does not open. Why is that? Because this car's length has actually decreased. How did that even happen? Because you won't believe it, this car's length has been reduced to accommodate these massive tires. Yeah, the tires are absolutely massive. Here is the exhaust. Can you see the way the exhaust has been done? The tires are so big now, they could not accommodate the tire at all. So they had to cut the body, and when they cut the body, they had to reduce the length of the car, which is the reason why the rear doors have been removed here completely. Doggy also enjoying the cars. The rear doors have been removed here. Yeah, that's right. I kid you not. They've gone ahead and removed the rear doors only, because of which, to get to the rear, you have to go through the co-passenger seat, which is very difficult because it's quite a task. But it has actually become shorter because of the tires. So they had to reduce the length of the vehicle, which makes it look even more mental. So I'm at the Shiva's farmhouse here. This car is obviously not road legal, so it's used in the farmhouse, and I'm going to be driving it in the farmhouse itself. Says TRD, Toyota Racing Development, but it's actually Toyota's Rice developed. And I love the fact the wheels are like so massive, which give it road presence. You can see everything from here. The suspension is obviously not functional. You can see the engine, you can see the exhaust. And let's climb inside. Not many mods here, a lot of exposed wires here and there. This does not work. There is a roof rail which obviously is not functional. You have to quite a bit climb in here, and there you see the top of the vehicle. It's super duper hot because the battery is good now, so I can't keep the car on. I have to push start it. That's why we are on a slope. We'll push it and we'll turn it on. Seats are the regular bits, and then I don't know what this is. That mechanism is also not working. It's obviously a manual. This is probably for the horn, and 3-spoke steering wheel. No audio controls here. The head unit has been changed because obviously it has to have a reverse parking camera because it's huge. Some storage space here. and this gear lever vibrates a lot. There's some meter here and a lot of buttons. See, those buttons are actually to activate the lights of the vehicle, but as I see it, the interior is similar to what it was before. Only thing is, it's not very practical to get into the rear, but once you are inside, trust me, there's a lot of space and you can't even access the boot unless and until you fling things from here right behind the seats. But thankfully, everybody has got a head. Weight placement in a very weird position, but how does it drive? Because obviously the weight has increased quite a lot, and because of the increase in weight, the speed has decreased quite a lot as well. Let's go. All right, it's time to drive. Now, there is no battery in this car, but there's a safety feature here so that nobody can steal the car, which is that you have to do a running start here. Isn't that super cool? And because the problem here is that there is no battery, the speedometer is not working. That's why I put my specialist timing gear here so that you can actually see the speed of the car. And trust me on this, the power steering is not working, which makes it a lot of effort to drive it. Yeah, firstly, you feel on the top of you're the king of the road because you're sitting so top up. And the engine doesn't feel refined. There's a lot of vibrations which are coming from almost everywhere, and because the steering doesn't have power assist anymore, it just feels super duper heavy. There's a lot of effort required, so you really need not go to the gym. This car is absolutely enough to get the job done. The horn is decent. Let's power through to get up, and here we climb. Okay, that was easy. So let's launch it now. Okay, this car has a reverse parking camera. It has got an infotainment system, which is aftermarket. None of that works. Thankfully, the power windows do work. So I'm going to roll them up right now so that wind noise doesn't come. But trust me, it is boiling hot. And these two are the most useless buttons in this car because the rear windows are no longer rolling up and down. So it's a fixed window glass, doesn't roll up or down at all. And off we go. So yeah, because of the big tires, the car has slowed down. So this car actually had a 2-liter engine, just like the car right ahead. Yes, a 2-liter petrol engine, VVTi. A Toyota petrol engine is absolutely bonkers because I'll show that to you why it's bonkers. We have to drive that car because then you realize how rare these cars are. Now, brakes are very weak. I don't know why the brakes don't work only. So I have to put my foot down by cutting the chassis and do yabba dabba doo. Like I was telling you, 2-liter petrol engine, 134 horsepower and 182 Newton meters of torque. So that's how it started life off. But the story is very interesting. This car was being used on the farmhouse, the stock one, and someone from the farmhouse's team crashed it and it was totaled. So then this guy is like, I love the Innova Petrol, I want another Innova Petrol, so he got that one. And one day Deep Raj just walked in here and saw, why is this car just lying here? So he bought it and he converted it into this, and the owner's like, wow, what an amazing car you have made, and he bought it back from him. And that is kind of the story of this car. Okay, I think that Innova has got stuck because it doesn't have off-road tires. Anyways, so like I was telling you, the story is very simple, that there is no reverse parking camera, there is no mirror also here, so it becomes very difficult to make turns somehow. And now I am going to try and maybe turn around from here, but that's going to be quite the challenge because this car is having a very heavy steering. There is no rear wheel steering, there is no assist here at all. It is just pure hard work to maneuver it, which becomes quite a bit of a problem. In fact, we are going to take a quick reverse from here into reverse. Yeah, thankfully reverse works. So like I was telling you, the engine of this car went kaput. All the electronics were damaged beyond repair and this car was totaled. That's when Deep Raj decided, let me convert this into a monster truck, spending rupees 8 lakhs to do it. My goodness, I can feel each and every muscle in my body. I don't even have those many muscles, but I can feel every one of them because there's so much effort to just turn around in this car. And then they had to get another engine, so they got a 3-liter engine. So the 2-liter engine did not suffice, the Toyota engine, because this car would just not move. So they got a 3-liter DI engine, which actually came from the Tata 407. And this engine, which is from the Tata 407, it produces 100 horsepower and 300 Newton meters of torque roughly, because the engine is stock. And it's having so much torque that it is okay. We'll be able to turn without breaking a few trees. Yes, we can. So this engine was able to make the car move ahead. Otherwise, the car just cannot move ahead because of the weight. And although this is rear-wheel drive, by stock the Innova is rear-wheel drive, they've actually put 4-wheel drive here, all-wheel drive, because it's actually coming from the old Jeeps. Okay, rev it and off we go. Little bit of wheel spin, not much. First gear is doing 30 3 kilometers per hour. Gearbox is very notchy, again coming from the Tata 407. So they should have just got the diesel engine from the Innova. Actually, parts are not easily available of the first generation model, and the first generation Innova's engine, the D4D, was actually producing approximately 101 horsepower, very less, and 200 Newton meters of torque, again very less. But with this DI engine, it gives it a new lease of life, because somehow performance seems to be adequate enough. Top speed is just 80 kilometers per hour. That's it. It doesn't go any further. It just stops at 80 kilometers per hour, which is not much if you ask me. But then this is a car which is only driven in the farmhouse, and it attracts so much attention because of the way it looks. It absolutely looks bonkers. Ride is gone for a toss because of the massive tires. The handling isn't great at all, but this is not meant for handling. It is all about road presence. It kind of feels indestructible. So big potholes and all, you can just walk over them without feeling an inch of anything. There's some kickback on the steering wheel, which you can obviously feel at the moment because of the massive wheels. So the big wheels has made life a bit difficult, but everything for show, so no one's going to be complaining about it. Look at the kind of effort which is needed to twirl the steering wheel. Only good thing is that you're sitting so high up that everything feels chintu mintu to you. Even the stock car, which is right in front, feels so damn small right now. Let's use the wipers. They also don't work. So nothing seems to be working at the moment. It's a 5-speed gearbox. I never knew that a Toyota which is not working had to get a part from Tata, that to a big part. An engine, the heart coming from a Tata in a Toyota car. Unheard of, but somehow it works. Only thing is the noise, vibration, harshness is too much. But the regular Innova, also with the 2.5 D4D engine, was very loud, very harsh, and not at all pleasing to drive. Although I had that particular model, and as soon as I saw this car today morning, I was in deep regret that why did I sell my Innova. I sold it because I got stellar resale, but I realized if I had kept it, I would have still got it sold for a stellar price, because then I could have just sold it to a smaller town and people would be like, wow, and it would be in a taxi, because an Innova is just unbelievable. It's just gone downhill from the first generation, because the first generation was crude, raw and fun. Second generation, the Krista, again rear wheel drive, still a lot of fun. The third generation, front wheel drive with a hybrid powertrain, no diesel, so that is a bit disappointing, very disappointing actually. But then old school guys will definitely love the original Innova, which we are driving today. A 2-liter petrol engine, seems lovely. The owner has this whole land, yet he prefers to drive the first generation Innova, because that's how much he loves the OG Innova, which goes to show how older cars still have the charm. It's just that the newer cars are getting ruined by being too smooth, too refined, too feature loaded, and losing the mechanical feel of things. Because while the latest model might be faster, more efficient, more gizmo and tech loaded, and better in terms of ride, because the newest is the monocoque. This one is obviously a body on frame platform. It has self-drive as well. It has 58. Look at it, automatically turn. That's not lane keep assist. That is off-road, automatic, autonomous level 27 driving as well. So yeah, it's unbelievable how fun this car can be. Definitely, if I have the money, I'm going to get an OG car and make it a monster truck. So this is not the first monster truck, by the way. I've also driven another monster truck developed by the very same guy, which happened to be none other than a Maruti 800 monster truck. Can you freaking believe it? But since we are just going round and round and we can't go out because this car is unfortunately not road legal, let's get in that car and give it some of the beans, because at the end of the day, you guys have come here to see beans now. That's what really makes you happy. Oh, an Innova can be so much fun. Imagine this car in the taxi segment. People will be like, we need a ladder to climb up. Let's get into that. And trust me, it feels so much easier to drive because the steering is so lighter. The engine feels peppier. A Toyota engine is a Toyota engine is a Toyota engine, and because this is petrol, it feels super spunky as well. Yeah, torque output isn't as great as say a diesel, but still it feels so fast. It feels so nice, and it feels just amazing to drive. But let's see what is it capable of. Okay, it's rear wheel drive, which gives it more feel of driving, obviously. Actually, I'm just going to stop here. I'm going to show you something very cool. Okay, we are in neutral and look at the way this revs. All the way till 8,000 RPM, and then this gear lever goes mad vibrating. Yeah, 8,000 RPM. Isn't that super duper cool? Left foot on the clutch, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, and off we go. Lot of wheel spin. And let's see whether it redlines at 8,000 RPM. Yes, it does. 8,000 RPM redline in a Toyota Innova. Wow, absolutely bonkers. I'm sure the rev limit was around 6,500 RPM. Someone has removed the rev limiter here, because of which it is climbing all the way to 8,000 freaking RPM, which honestly is mental. That's absolutely crazy. Okay, the ride is better here, the handling is better here, everything other than the driving position is better here, and the ruggedness might not be there because obviously it has smaller wheels. But trust me, even a car which is so old drives so beautifully well, which is the shocking part. The gear shifts are also very smooth. The clutch is also on the lighter side. So nobody really bought a 2-liter Innova ever because the petrol obviously drinks a lot of fuel. Later they came up with a 2.7-liter petrol because they realized 2-liter engine is drinking fuel. 2.7 will drink even more fuel. This car is even more rare than a Ferrari in India, because unless and until you're super rich or have a fuel pump of your own, you'll never ever buy an Innova Petrol, because an Innova Petrol is a gas guzzler, no matter which generation you talk about other than the latest model, which is obviously a hybrid. In terms of driving feel, there is obviously body roll, but it drives so smoothly well, and that's the reason why the owner actually went ahead and bought an Innova Petrol, because of the refinement alone. He was like, I want an Innova Petrol because it's so smooth, it's so refined. Over these bad patches of road, well, the ride is actually good. It's not bad at all. Even though this is a body on frame platform with that continuous movement and that lumpiness at lower speeds, it kind of feels rugged and nice and goes very smoothly over the worst of roads, which is just mind-blowing, yaar. What a fun car to drive. I never thought I would say that an Innova is so much fun, but with a petrol engine, it just revs like mental. 8,000 RPM in a petrol Innova is something which you would have never thought about. And considering that this car is so old right now and it's still managing to be alive with such a red line, means that Toyota's petrol engines are very reliable. Now this is no 2JZ, but still this is actually very fast and quite amazing to drive. We're going to make a quick U-turn from somewhere because obviously turning radius is quite a lot. I have to see a big patch of road. I think this is the one where we'll take a U-turn. I will have to reverse 50 times obviously, but here we go. The specialist timing is not helping because in Goa all the roads are either up or down. They are not having this thing at all. I mean, there's no reverse parking camera. The roads here are not having any sort of straightness to it. So there's an incline or there's a decline. So 0 to 100 km/h timing would be misleading, but this is not a fast car by any means of imagination. It just feels fast because of the way it redlines, and the gear lever vibrates like crazy. Another super feature of this car is if you turn it off now, like I've turned it off, I can turn it on directly. It turns on. You don't have to push start it. Actually, the battery in that car has gone because it has been standing since quite some time, and off we go. You don't have to really push it hard. Even if you drive it with short shifts in the mid-range, it moves ahead. But obviously the diesel Innova was way better, more efficient and more popular because better resale as well. Although not very powerful. I don't know how Toyota was giving such poor numbers, but they realized it with the Krista sort of key, you know, we need to give more power to people. Wow, what an experience today of driving two Innovas. Brings back memories of the time when I had my own Innova and I should drive it like a sports car. Yeah, it used to do around 160 km/h on the speedometer, the diesel one, yet giving good mileage. Usually I used to get single digit numbers. I had upsized the tires from 205 to 225 is all that I remember. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to, I mean, whatever you wanted to do now. I don't know what I wanted to ask you, but वो आदत पड़ गई है ना कुछ बोलने की, तो मैं बोल देता हूँ. Let's rev it again. Let me get off from this bad patch of road. Let's come to a lower gear. I'm into first right now, and let's go mental because here we go. First gear, 8,000 RPM. The way the gear lever vibrates is absolutely crazy. Bye.